Alright guys, welcome back. On this episode we're going to tackle some of the outside projects and features that this truck's going to have. We've got a new front bumper for it. Well, new to me. A push bar. We're going to be putting roll bar back in it with lights, all that. So, and there's a couple other little things along the way that we'll do. But what we're going to do is get started with the roll bar. So let's dig into it. Alright, here is our roll bar in pieces. But this is the roll bar that I used, that I had in this truck for a good number of years. Now, I was originally going to put a double tube in it, but you've got to watch on your roll bars on how they're made. And the reason why is because some roll bars, the down tubes come down straight. Okay. I know your Chevrolets, your older Chevrolets do that. I'm not sure about the Dodges. I don't know if they have anything why they couldn't. But the Fords, at least from 80 to 96, and I know the dent sides have got this sort of same feature. It's just not exact, but there's a feature in these beds that keeps you from running a straight, straight down tube roll bar. So let me show you what the obstacle is, and then I'll explain the roll bar situation. Okay, now you can see over on the passenger side, the wall comes straight down, goes into the bed, no problem. On the driver's side, you don't have that. You've got this hump right here that comes up out of the bed, out of the sidewall, and keeps you from putting a straight style double tube in here. And you can see with the one we're putting back in, there was only 2 bolts holding this roll bar in. Okay. Now, when I was planning on putting the double tube in here, I'd forgot about this. It's been a good number of years since I took it out. I said, yeah, I'll put a double tube in there. I've got one laying around, so that'll work good. Well, then I remembered that I had to modify the single tube to get it to work in here. So let me show you what I've done on that. Alright, right here is your down tubes for your main hoop, and you can see it's straight. Okay. Alright, this is the driver's side. I had to ear this corner up to fit in that little pocket. So this was sitting right on that hump that comes up. Okay. So that's the problem we've run into. Now, I would have loved to do a double tube, and I may try to later on. Either you're going to have to bend the tubes, try to bring them in towards each other, or cut that hump out and everything. And the purpose for that hump is these trucks, Ford offered a dual gas tank setup, even in the short beds. So that hump is there for the filler neck. It's just something they designed, okay? So we're going to go ahead and put the single tube back in here because it's been in here. I know it works. We'll just do it. And later on, if I can get one, if I can come across one that bends in and will fit in this, then we'll go to a double tube. So, and what I mean by bends in, these tubes are straight. They're straight, okay? The ones that bend in, they're not straight here. This angle's the same, but these bend in a little further, okay? So that allows these foot plates to miss that hump. Now, the only problem that you would have with it tapering in more is where is that tube going to land, okay? If it lands right there, well, you're right on top of one of those grooves. So you'll have to build it up with washers or a solid spacer or something. But this is what I'm talking about. You can see where that was in there once before. Had to bend it up. So you can see it's kind of a pain to get these things to work in here, especially with the Fords. But don't let that discourage you. Roll bars look excellent in these trucks. So, and that's the style that I like, so that's what we're going to go with. So we're going to start taking the old lights off because we've got brand new lights to put on top. We've actually got to cannibalize another old school light bar to make this work, or at least the way I want it to. And that way I don't have to go buy material to make the bar. I'm going to see if this will work. So you'll get to see firsthand whether it works or not. Trial and error, it's part of it. It's part of hot rodding. So let me explain the light deal just a little better. Okay, so this is what we've got so far, what we've got right now. I ran 4 on it before. You can see I put just a piece of flat plate. And again, it was what I had laying around, and it was barely long enough to get to where we needed to. So this time what we're going to do is be putting 6 lights on here. Yeah, we'll go from 4 to 6 and fill this out a little better. I could put 5, but I'm going to try 6. I think that'll fill it out a little better and make it look better. So we'll try it, see what happens. Now, this is the light bar that we are cannibalizing, but it's okay because it's made for a small truck. It's not made for a full size like this. And I'll end up using this again, I'm sure, on something, but I'll just get another piece of rectangle tubing and fix it. It's no big deal, because like I said, this is too short. It's too narrow. So here's what we've got. Here are the end pieces, and I know what you're saying. I just ruined a Dick CPEC light bar, but it's for a good cause. Now this red one right here is an original Rally from way back in the day. Well, it was probably built in the 90s because the box had 90s Chevrolets and S10s on it. But I picked this up at a show towards the first of the year. But original red, and this one's going on another project, one that you've already seen. We've got to do some changes, but as you can see, I've done got 6 lights marked out. Right there's your center hole of this bar. So there's 2, 4, 6. Okay. Now, if you bring this down here, and about right there, this little one's going to be perfect to just put 6 lights on. So, with the measuring that I've done, we're going to be able to use this hole and this hole to run a bolt in and bolt it to the roll bar. Because you can see these 2 holes, they're close to these holes here, but they're, you know, you're going to have to drill new holes. This hole, nothing, and then right there's the hole we're going to use for a bolt. And then we'll have to widen this out and make it to where the light stud will go in. So that's what we're going to do. Hopefully it'll work. So we're going to get into it, start putting the roll bar back in, and start working on this light bar. Alright, we've got this took off. Now you can see just how close that was. And it's you can see I didn't have much room to spare. It barely got in there, so. Alright, now we need to, I think I may see a problem, but let's try it out and see. Okay, we've got a piece here. These are just some spare bolts I had laying around. So let's see if this is going to do. Now, let's take this piece. We'll set that right there. Set that there. Get this in that hole. We'll kind of see if that hole's going to line up for us. No. You can see how off it is. We can get close. So that means we're going to have to drill 2 more holes just to mount this thing. And what I was worried about, well, it looks like it'll set on there. Oh, not with the, no. Nope, 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 nope. Right there, the hole. And that just, that's not going to work. Not like I thought. Now if it sits there it will, which is still not bad. But we're definitely going to have to bore 2 more holes. Now I'd about say I'll end up having to cut a couple pieces off this flat bar here and stick under this to where we can set this back where it needs to be without it doing that. So it's going to work, just needs some modifications. Y'all hang in there. Okay, I think the way we're going to go, as you can see right here, which I've got this flipped upside down, we're right at the edge of that hole to use this hole in this bracket. We're right at the edge of the factory hole in the tab on the roll bar. Okay, so now I don't really want to be that close trying to put a bolt in. So what I think we're going to do is just move right over, trace this out, drill us a hole here. Now I could use this with using a smaller bolt, but it's still close to that and I don't know if I want to do that. So I think we'll just trace this out, drill us a hole here for probably a 3/8 bolt, and then just use these slots on each side to mount it. So I think we have a plan, in theory. So now you can see just how close that hole is to this big hole. And I just don't want to get that close to it. So we'll do this here, and doing it this way, instead of drilling new holes in the bracket, the light bar, stainless piece, we'll just drill them in this. And that way, biggest thing is it'll allow me to put that light bar and have it set on those tabs flat without having to put another piece underneath it or anything like that. This will get it up where it needs to be, and it'll help it set flat across the whole piece. So that's the reason I went that way, and if it gives trouble, we'll just fix it later. That's part of it. So I think I'm going to drill these holes and start putting this thing together. Perfect. Alright, so we've got our holes drilled. See right there. And I believe this is going to work. Put that up about straight. Right there. Let's see. See back there, it's sitting on the plate, on the tab. Back there, it's sitting on tab. So, I believe we're good. Now, one thing we'll have to do is that one tab, it's sort of bent down, so I'm going to have to bend it back up, but I believe that's going to work. So now we just got to drill the holes in the actual bar the mounts will go light to, and start putting this roll bar back in. Alright, we've got our light bar here. Got the new holes drilled. So here, there, and then out here. Widen this out. Take another light. So now what we got to do is get the Brillo pads out and start cleaning this, getting some more of this rust off. Get as much as we can off. Just clean it up. Alright, you seen me get this here. It looks better. You know, it's not perfect, but that's not what we're going after. Now, so we'll get the rest of the tubes cleaned up. I'll pick you back up in a little bit. Alright, we got all the tubes cleaned up as good as they're going to get. We got the the bar here, cleaned up, got all the Sharpie marks off of them. So now we're going to put it in the truck. Perfect. Okay. That right there. And I've got the legs backwards. What a surprise. Well, let's try like this. Okay, we've got one hole lined up. Yeah, I might be able to live with that. There we go. Got one hole lined up over there. Got another hole right there. So at least we got holes lining up. Of course, the down ones over there, they're going to do just fine. Now, one thing I am going to work on, as you can see, it's sort of tilted back. So I'm going to see how much I've got to space the back to the kickers up to get this thing to set level. So let's see how far off it is. All right. Well, you can see it's still pretty far off. And that's a piece of a 2x6 underneath the kickers. So we're going to have to figure this out, because I like how straight it is compared to the cab. It's off just a little bit, but to get that bubble level, it looks like these are going to have to be kicked up about 4 inches, and that just ain't doable. We'll have to figure something else out. So I'm going to work on this and see if I can figure something out. I'll let y'all know. Alright, we've got the roll bar securely mounted. You see over there. Now we've only got 2 bolts on that side, and then 1 bolt here. Now, the reason for that is because when you don't have a roll bar specifically made for a Ford, it's challenging for sure. This side where you've got to fit it in that little pocket, the second hole ended up actually hitting one of the cross members, so there's no way to get a bolt. You can get the bolt in there, but you can't get a nut on the back side, so there's no point in that. The other side, it actually split the cross member. It was on the inside of the cross member under the bed, so I was able to get a nut there and actually get a ratcheting wrench and got that one tight. And then the others, they just got out there in the open. It wasn't no big deal to get to. Here's the thing. These roll bars are not designed for safety. They're designed for show. Now, I've seen plenty of trucks get rolled over and these roll bars keep the cab up. So they will, in some cases, protect you and keep the cab from crushing on you, but that's not what they're designed for. So it's not that big a deal right now. And another thing with if you get one out of a Chevrolet, the fender wells are about 2 inches higher than a Ford. So this is what I run into on that. Yeah, it's not something to be proud of. But that got it to where this is exactly 2 inches above this fender well. And you can see up here, I put a level up here. You can see we're 3/4 of a bubble in center, or vertical. Okay. So we're technically still leaning back from being perfectly vertical. So we're going to run it like this for a little while. What I plan on doing is getting some of this 3-inch tube and then making cutting a piece probably 1.5 to 1.75 inches, and then putting a piece of plate on each end of it, and then weld the plates to that tube, and then it'll bolt here and then be able to bolt here. So that'll take up the gap. The only other way to fix this, besides getting a roll bar for Ford, is you would have to chop 2 inches out of your front legs. So that's not something I want to do. We're just going to run it like this for a while, and just until I can get these spacers made. I don't want to, cut it up, because it could always be used in another truck or whatever. And plus, now if it was painted, if this was a painted roll bar, I would definitely consider cutting the front legs to make it fit. But with it being chrome, I try not to touch those, just because it's too difficult to find somebody to chrome it, and it's too expensive. If they're painted, you can rattle can it or even spray it out of a gun and fix it, paint it back. But that's what we're going to do on this. So, and if you notice, the lights are already mounted. Let's check this out. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm not going to show you from the front just yet, but you can see we had just enough room. I mean, we're right at the edge, but we got 6 of them up there. So, and you'll probably notice there's a little rust on the bottom of that far one on the pasture side. That's a light I already had. That light's probably 10 years old, and I just cleaned it up the best I could and put it on here just to see, just to get 6 of them up there to see what's going to look like. And that's the reason I put it on the end. It'd be easy to change out later on, because I've got more new lights to put on here, so that's no big deal. Now we're going to put the bed caps on. Nah, I didn't say nothing about the bed caps. Alright. Now, I already cleaned them up last night. It was just too dark to film or anything, so, but they was pretty filthy. So we'll get these put on, and that'll help. It'll cover up just a little bit of this primer, and then up there at the front. But it's really going to do a good job of covering all this up. So, well, let's just stick one on there and see what it's going to look like. Got that flush. There we go. Now you can see just how much that covers up. That's what it was. Yeah, I think that'll look a lot better. And this has always been on the truck ever since I bought it. And it's just going to tie all this in, which I've never even pulled this off. It may be perfect paint underneath, but it'll just tie all this in. I don't have a piece for the head gate, but oh well, this is good enough. So let's get to mounting these, and then we've got one other thing to put back here. So let's get these done. Alright, we've got them put on. Now, what I'm going to end up doing is running some self-tappers along this inner edge. Probably 3 maybe, something like that. You can see it makes a world of difference. So I'll get the self-tappers put in here, and then we may have to put either self-tappers or bolts or screws or something in the top to get this to set down like I want if it ears up and I don't like it. So we may have to do that. Now if you notice, right up there's a bracket. Okay, here's what that's for. Yep, CB antenna. I picked this up at a local, it's actually a music shop, but the owner, he sells and rebuilds CBs from time to time, but he's got a whole line of CB accessories and equipment. So we're going to put these on and see how I like them. Alright, there's this one on. That one over there. Now check out how that looks. Oh, that's a 4-foot antenna. I gotta back up a good ways. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's right nice. I like that. Now, we're not going to hook them up just yet because the CB's not put in yet. That's along with some of the other interior pieces. So, for right now, they'll just stay unhooked. But that'll be in the interior video when we put all the new stuff in and everything. But we've got them mounted. So, now, I've got to put the self-tappers in and get the bed caps sorted out. Next will be a new-ish front bumper and the push bar that I've got for it. So let's get after it. front bumper's off. And you can see how bad this thing was. Got dent there, dent down there. The bad part is right here. You can see how twisted that is and how twisted that one is over there. So I'm gonna try to straighten them out, see what we can do. But man, check this out. With the bumper off, it's almost got that pre-runner look for a Baja truck. It's kind of cool. Anyways, I'm gonna work on these frame mounts and see if I can straighten them out, and we'll get the new bumper put on. All right, new bumper is on, and that looks right nice. Now, where my frame is messed up, I had to play with round washers and stuff and get the bumper to sit just right. Normally it's not that way, but doing what we can with what we got. So bumper's on, it's tight. I don't know, I probably spent 15-20 minutes aligning it, because you got to go back and forth. The biggest thing is getting it side to side, because what'll happen, as you can see, this side's pretty even, and then this side's out just a little bit. So, and then I always try to put mine as close to the lower valance as possible and space it out. That way, especially if you're running bigger tires, most people will cut these bumpers. You don't have to. All you got to do is get you some flat washers, and I think the most I've ever done is 4 or 5, I think, and that'll still give you enough threads to catch, for the nut to catch and tighten everything up. So, like I said, this one's a little different, but yeah, just use those washers and space these bumpers out. That way you don't have to cut them. And most people will cut them way more than you need to. You just got to play with it and figure out what works. So now, time for the push bar. All right, this here is a brand new factory style Ford push bar. Now, notice I said push bar. It's not a brush guard. It don't have the light guards. But this sucker's brand new. We'll put it together and see how good it looks. Like I said, this is made just for the OBS's. And I thought the packing label was on here. I guess I took it out. I don't know. But I'm hoping, see right here's where it mounts to the bumper. I'm hoping that these holes line up, because this had a factory, this bumper had a factory Ford brush guard on it. So we're going to see how close them holes are. So y'all hang in there and let's see what happens. It fit. The holes lined up. Check it out. Just look at that. Oh yeah. Get the full experience right there. Which we'll get some pictures and video out of the shop and everything. But oh, I'm stoked over this. This is awesome. I've wanted this truck like this for 10 years. Well, no. 12 years. 12 years. This is what I've had in mind. The only thing left to complete the vision is lift, wheels, and tires. But, oh, I'm tickled to death over this. I had to waller out the holes in the bumper down here just a little bit. I mean, just a hair to get those bolts to fit. But up here, fit perfect. And I mean perfect. So, But yeah, there's the new bumper and push bar. Got 6 lights on the roll bar, dual antennas. Oh, son, this is, yeah, I'm liking it. Alright, we've got the lights up there. We've got everything. New bumper, push bar, all that. But up here's looking a little bare. So we dug around through our stash and found 2 more of these lights. These are 6.5. Okay, 6.5 blazer. Now, I know people's going to say something because I've got KC covers on blazer lights. But I'll go ahead and tell you, these lights are just as good, and people say that the KCs don't rust, at least as fast. They still rust, so don't be convinced that KC is so much better, because when you're spending $100 per light on them, and you can spend, I believe these are $25 a piece now, I really don't see the need to spend the extra money. And as long as you take care of them, you know, you could clear coat these right out of the box and you never have to worry about them rusting. But if they start getting a little rust on stuff, just take a Brillo pad to them, clean them up, and just take care of them, and they'll last you a lifetime. So we'll get these open, get them put on the truck, see how it looks. Oh yeah, now she's filled out a little better. I don't know, it might, I'll tell you, look how good that looks. I mean, this just screams 80s, 90s. Oh, I love it. So we've got all the bolt-on stuff done. Really all it's left to do is get outside and take a look at it, you know. So I believe that's what we'll do. Alright folks, we're rolling down the road here. We got the truck out, riding around, seeing how well it's going to do. So far it's doing fine. Runs good. All the gauges look good. Steering feels fine. It's like we parked the Yersty. I tell you, I sure have missed driving this truck. It's so much fun to drive, and it's really the only vehicle I've got that don't have stock exhaust. sure is a lot of fun. But I think next time we'll leave the toolbox out of the back. All that slipping, sliding around. This old truck still knows how to have fun. I tell you, that sound just never gets old. You want to hear it again? I thought you would. Only thing that'll make this truck better if it's a 5-speed. Then you can really wind them gears out. Then automatic and AOD at that. Second and third is on the same gear, well, on the same pattern as the shifter. So you can wind first gear out and you can wind third gear out. That's about all you got. Uh-oh. Well, we'll have to look into that. Something about when you run it. That ain't good. I believe there's still a few cobwebs we need to get blowed out. There's only one way I know how to do it. there you have it. First test drive with the old black truck. I've had it for a long time, and I'm glad to have it back. And if you think this is going to be the end of this, we've got more stuff coming for this truck, and it's going to be a major reoccurrence. You're going to see us on the channel. So I'm very excited to have this thing back and running better than ever. So hope y'all liked this video, and if you did, give it a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff, and we'll see you in the next video with this one or maybe another one. We'll just have to come back and see you.